Live from the new Life Center studios in Coconut Creek, Florida, and Phoenix, Arizona, it's Nothing Worthwhile, giving you the latest news in pop culture, sports, entertainment, and professional wrestling. You know, all the crap you don't care about. Here's Evan Moody and Andrew Gruthius.
After these messages.
You guys suck!
Dave, can I quickly just get your prediction for Wimbledon winning, please?
What?
Who do you think's going to win Wimbledon?
What?
Who's going to win? How about the men's?
No clue.
The women's?
You are beaten.
Have a good day.
It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did. There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you. Luke, you do not yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will complete your training. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy.
I'll never join you!
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough!
I am your father.
Nuh-uh.
The fuck you mean? No.
I met him one time, very briefly, at the Venice Gold's Gym.
There's still people that are blown away to find out you're not actually related.
I'm asked this almost in every interview still.
That's crazy.
Once Ron Slinker gave me the name Rob Van Damme, after that, now I'm used to hearing people say that. Some people think that I'm him. They'll start, I loved your movie. Cyborg was great. I'm like, oh my God, they think I'm Jean Claude. Of course, a lot of people will say, dude, I swear to God, man, you two need to be brothers. My mom always tells this story about someone that yelled at her and said, well, then why the hell did it look so
I'm
much
Kurt
alike?
Vonnegut. I'm looking for Thornton Mellon.
What do you think? Someone else wrote this?
Look, all I know is that you didn't, and that's what disappoints me. Tell you something else, whoever did write it doesn't know the first thing about Kurt Vonnegut.
And another thing, Vonnegut, I'm going to stop payment on a check. What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips? Fuck you! Next time I'll call Robert Ludlum.
I'm hit! Rapiding. Where are you? I can maneuver, but I'm losing power.
A jet fighter is missing in the Mediterranean.
3 of those planes were carrying highly secret laser guidance systems. The best man for the job is codenamed Black Eagle.
We can only guess how much the Americans know.
We've already done a computer run. We put splashdown in a sector 3 miles south of Swata Point off Malta.
Now, it's an undercover, high-tech conflict in an ancient land. There are no armies. There is no glory. This fight is one-on-one. It's combat in a world of double identity.
His name's Ken Taney. For all intents and purposes, a marine biologist at the University of Hawaii.
It is a world of double agents.
I know quite a bit about Miss Parker.
You must have me confused with someone else.
A world of double meaning.
It says I'm a priest.
A dangerous world. Exotic and sensuous. Where trouble is only a heartbeat away.
Dad, is someone trying to hurt you?
I'm doing a job for our country.
And they're bad men, aren't they?
They probably think we are bad men, Brian.
For both sides, there's only one rule. Win. Black Eagle. front line. Will against will. Force against force. One-on-one. Show Kusugi. Jean Claude Van Damme. Black Eagle.
Kill Whitey! Oh.
Live from the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network Studios, It's Nothing Worthwhile presents Van Dammit, a podcast about Jean Claude Van Damme. Here's Evan Moody and Andrew Gruthius.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
Yes, thank you to one Carl Douglas. Welcome to Nothing Worthwhile, episode 129. On today's show, we are back on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. We do a little show called Van Dammit in honor of our guy Jean Claude Van Damme. For those who might be first listening, Andrew and I do a podcast, Nothing Worthwhile, and once a month, in theory, we come on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network to do Van Dammit. On today's show, we'll check out our guy Jean Claude. It's 1988's Black Eagle. We'll also span the universe and give you the latest news on our favorite 80s action star. My name, I'm Evan Moody, and I'm live from Phoenix, Arizona. His name, it's Andrew Gruthius, and he is live from Coconut Creek, Florida. Andrew Gruthius, how the hell are you, my friend? Good to be back on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. It's been a while.
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself? It's great to see you. You're looking good. Nice glasses.
You as well. You're melting away. Just absolutely melting away.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Andrew has lost a lot of weight, looking really good. You know what? The only thing I'll add is in Phoenix, I don't know about Arizona, the weather's starting to break. It's actually maybe even a little cool in the morning, the early morning when I walk the dogs, and you could even wear a little light jacket in the 70s. So the weather's starting to break, and this is probably a nice time in this part of the country. I don't know about you, Andrew. Well, Andrew always claims he never leaves his house, never leaves his apartment. Yet every time I speak to him, he's like, "I got to go. I got to be somewhere at 7:30."
That's not true, actually.
All right.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's not. I mean, well, no. In theory, you're correct. My favorite thing to do is to literally lay on the couch and watch TV and do absolutely nothing. Literally,
I'm right there with you.
And things that I get. And listen, some people call it a midlife crisis. I call it just a product of getting older. There are things I used to love to do that I just don't want to do anymore. And when I do stuff, I usually can't wait for it to be over because I can't wait to get back to my couch. 99% of the time that I'm somewhere doing something, I'm at least looking forward to that walk through the door and seeing my couch and knowing that I can stay here for a while and not have to leave.
All right.
But that doesn't stop me. But it doesn't stop me from doing anything.
All right. So you said something interesting. So are you admitting to a midlife crisis? And if so, does that mean for you I know you get out and do it, but you don't look forward to going out or social events or even doing day-to-day stuff like grocery? I mean, is that what's going on here?
Yes. I've been in a midlife crisis for 20 years. So, I mean, but yeah, I look for any excuse.
I'm writing that down for the notes.
Listen, last night, okay? Last night was the family emergency, which is okay now, thank God. But
okay, good.
I think I want to say 2 nights ago. What I would normally do is I'd come home, and if I didn't have anything here for dinner and I wanted something for dinner, I would DoorDash something. Okay. Even if the place was close by. Just because I've had a long day, I've had a long, tough day, just like those coal miners in South America. Everything.
Fingernails all
just filth and disgust.
Chalky.
And just so just walking through a tough day of IEP meetings and 504 meetings and all that stuff.
Right up my alley.
And and all I want to do is just plop down on the couch. And it's so easy, it's so simple. I got an annual pass to DoorDash. I just use the phone and do the thing and whatever. But the other night I came home, it was, and literally 5 minutes later I had the phone in my hand. I was going to order something from McDonald's actually. I had a little craving, and I said, you know what, little craving, but I decided, you know what, no, I'm gonna get in the car because it's really around the corner, and I'm gonna go get it myself. So maybe I'm breaking out of that, thing a little bit, and I went out because yes, like you said, grocery shopping. I just hate doing anything. I don't know why. I hate going to the movies. I hate. Yeah, I like the big things that we do. I love WrestleMania. Can't wait for those. I dread those ending. I dread the the New York trips ending. Those the big things. But give me a little thing. I can't. And this is no offense to anybody who's listening. I just I just can't wait to get home. And that's I don't and I think it's a product of aging. I really and so I don't consider it a mental disturbance.
No, I don't either. But I got to push myself. I got to push myself as well, and that's why Marie is. I don't know if the word is a blessing, but she's running to this show and this dinner, and I'm just like, oh yeah.
And you'll love this because of that. That's part of the reason why that I never walk into a gym. I just hate going to gyms, and. It's not just because I hate working out. It's because I just don't like doing shit.
Are we going to break some news right now? Is this breaking news?
Sort of.
And,
yeah, I forgot that sound clip.
Let me write this down.
I'm just screwing around on Amazon, and I decided to buy a one of the like an ab crunch machine. Just something to put in the living room.
All right.
Instead of just sitting on the couch, I'll just, so I buy this thing, I order it, and I see, you see where it's going already. I see you laughing. I know exactly where this is going.
I can tell you what Mitch Moody says about those ab rollers.
Well, what's going to happen is this. All right. What's already happened. So this was a couple weeks ago, right? So I order the thing from Amazon. The box comes. It's a big box. I take it out. I spend like an hour putting it together, and I got it all set up, and there it is. So then what do? I go over to the couch, and I start sitting there watching. And I say, you know what? Here's the plan. The plan is going to be to do it every morning. Every morning, I'll get up, and before I go into the shower, I'm going to go into this thing, and I'm going to go do, 15 or 20 of these, whatever. I'll start with, if I have to start with 2, I'll start with 2, but I'll start somewhere. So the next morning, I get up. I walk over there, I look at it, I go like this. And I get in the shower. And I walk out the door later, to go to work, and I see it sitting there. I look at it, I'm like, haven't touched it since.
Actually, all kidding aside, that, if you could commit to something like that, even for just a few, could.
I am going to. I truly am, because I do keep looking at it. But it's just the story to me is funny. It's just like literally the purpose of it. Every reason that I bought it was to do it everything my way, in my environment, with nobody bothering me when, how, and where, and whatever I wanted, and it still wasn't enough. To me, that's the point of the whole thing.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Ab Machine because those things have been out for a super long time. And my dad had gotten one probably in the 90s when these things were starting to become in vogue. And I saw it sitting in, I don't know, whatever apartment or house he was living in at the time. And I said, what's that? And he goes, it's an Ab Machine. He goes, I tell everybody it's a French impressionistic art. And then he ended up like he was hanging clothes like to dry off of, he had like clothes on a hanger just hanging, So
it's a towel rack.
Yeah, what's that, Dad? Oh, it's
my towel rack.
Yeah, it's a French impressionistic art. So
somebody was throwing it out by the curb. So I said instead of going to Bed Bath and Beyond, I'll just grab this.
A fascinating look into the life of Andrew Gruthius. All right, listen. So we're back on the Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. It's funny, as I was driving this morning to the Last of the Action Hero Podcast Network studios, my ID must have been rescinded. I messaged Ryan Rebalkin, the CEO of the Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network, and I said, "Hey, Ryan, good news. We're going to be recording a new Van Dammit." He sent back a surprise emoji. Not a thumbs up, not a heart surprise emoji.
I listened to their latest. Their first episode of their Rocky V retrospective, because I am a huge fan of dissecting Rocky V. I love talking about it. I love talking about the movie and the different approaches. So I like listening to them talk about it. I've asked for us to come on, but the invitation is still just kind of dangling.
It's all right. Don't worry about that. Cool. Let me give you a couple of.
That's our our passive aggressive ploy for the day.
Listen, I will say this. I know Ryan's going to listen, and I do appreciate that. And apparently, his wife Becky Rebalkin, who I am also wishing a good, speedy recovery to as well.
Becky
listens. She's apparently one of our few female listeners, so I do thank. But we did go on YouTube to a live feed, and we did message them. Did we get acknowledged? Maybe we did.
No, we didn't. We didn't. But he knew why. Because that's not the one they pay attention to. They pay attention to like the Discord one or whatever. I whatever it was, I didn't understand it, but his explanation made sense. So.
All right, fine. Then I'm off that topic. Why I'm very glad to be back. We are very glad to be back with Van Damme. A couple of quick hitters, Groo. Raw moving to Netflix will now be 2 hours, I think, with commercials. SmackDown now on USA. They're going to add for the time being a third hour. That may be something that could be modified moving forward. What do you think about Raw going to 2 hours, apparently with commercials on Netflix, and SmackDown apparently, at least in the short term, maybe adding a third hour? Any thoughts on that?
First of all, I don't care how long or short they are. If they're good, they could be for 7 hours. Doesn't matter. Because the way I watch both of them, I rarely watch, unless it's a momentous occasion, I rarely watch either of them live.
Me too.
I'll watch the beginning, but it's just, I always either fall asleep or go to sleep. It's just a product of age.
Yeah, that melatonin kicks in for me.
Well, it doesn't take melatonin for me, but all right. So it doesn't. The quality doesn't matter. But if it's I'll watch it, and it doesn't matter how long it is, because if it's good, for a long time, people, and I remember people were bitching and moaning about Raw being 3 hours, and it was a constant narrative. And this was when the product wasn't as red hot as it is now. You have not heard those complaints pretty much during the Triple H era. I haven't. Have you? You really have?
No, but I mean, don't you think a 2 hour show is going to be that much crisper and leaner and less filler?
Honestly,
I mean, I think
I gotta say.
Here's my thing.
All right, go ahead.
Can I just let me make one point, please? Yeah. As a broadcast, I think it's going to be better for the wrestlers. Obviously, in talent, it won't be, because that third hour gives some of the lesser known folks, some of the guys and girls, a chance to be on primetime television and to build their character and build momentum. But I think as a pure broadcast, I think 2 hours is always going to be much better than 3 hours. Back in the day, in the Attitude Era, it was 2 hours. They would once in a while do a 3 hour, and those were usually loaded, very well planned shows that were going to either, really move a major plot point forward or be post or pre pay-per-view. So, I mean, I like the 2 hour. I'm not crazy about the commercials on Netflix. I believe that's, I read that. But nonetheless, I think 2 hour broadcast, 2 hours versus 3 hours will make a better, more enjoyable broadcast.
Yes, I agree with you to an extent, meaning that, like I said, if the quality is there, I don't feel that way. And to be honest, when I'm watching them, the way I watch them, like clicking through the commercials because I'm watching, on playback. When I get done with a Raw, I feel like I've eaten a full course meal. When I get done with SmackDown, I feel like I could still eat. So I might disagree with you. I might disagree with you. I think I like the more the better for me.
But let me interject here. So am I hearing Raw to you right now, irregardless of networking or whatever? Raw to you is a much more enjoyable. You're full. You've enjoyed it that much more, while SmackDown leaving you wanting more. I don't. What
no,
am I?
I'm
or you just, or you like that third hour of
saying just as good.
You want that third hour of Kofi Kingston teasing a New Day feud? I mean, come on.
I feel like the roster. I feel like there are people who are. It's like LA Knight wasn't on the show for like 2 weeks, and he's their U.S. champion. He should be there every. He should be there every week.
No, I disagree. Well, okay, I'll say this. I think Triple H has done a good job using the roster.
Yeah,
and LA Knight. I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy him being on every week, but he doesn't have to be for it to be an enjoyable broadcast. And then when LA Knight comes on, it just feels a bit more special to me. If they every once in a while cycle him off, and it makes me, I guess maybe absence grows the heart fonder or something like that.
Well,
I don't need LA. I don't need. They have enough stars now and enough manpower that I don't need the big names on every week. Do I want them on the majority of time? Sure, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I didn't last very long because of the melatonin, but I watched SmackDown. The episode, the segment with Roman and Cody inside Georgia Tech's football stadium, tremendous.
I saw that.
It had a big feel, and those two guys felt like major superstars.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, well, I'll just say that my favorite kind of formatted WWE show is making a comeback.
What is that?
The 90-minute show with which was only about, ended up being in hours of content because of the commercials, Saturday Night's Main Event. And I'm not going to lie to you and say that I did not look into possibly getting tickets to that and flying into New York.
Oh, yeah, of course. He doesn't include me. He doesn't include me.
Didn't you hear? I said tickets.
Oh. I did read that. I saw that Jesse Ventura is making a return.
Oh, that's so cool. Come on.
It is cool, but Andy, at 70-something years old, he's been out of the spotlight for a super long time, both as a wrestling entertainer and as even a political pundit, so to speak. They got to make sure, though, that's got to be probably a 3-man booth.
Of course.
With,
even if it's a one-shot deal, or even if it's 3 or 4 times a year, still it's super cool to me that it's even a possibility.
I don't disagree, and I want old school Jesse with bangles and weird
fake wig, some kind of wig.
And, I want that.
Yes,
I want that. It's been a while since they've really done sort of these overt good guy, bad guy announcers. I mean, obviously at times, Wade Barrett will take this position and Corey Graves will take this position. But for the most part, the guys call it straight. And I think that's appropriate for this time now. But it's going to be fun to have sort of an overt personality on the broadcast, taking his position, how ridiculous it is, despite the matches and what's going on. It'll be fun.
Yeah. And it's cool that they're doing it at the Coliseum. In Uniondale.
That is cool.
That's where I think that's where they did a lot of them, because that was their home base.
That was the first one. I went to the first one. That was the U.S. Express came. Yeah, that was U.S. Express. Wyndham and Rotunda versus Sheik and Volkov.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, we talked briefly off air about UFC. I know you're not a huge UFC guy, but did you see any highlights of UFC 306 in the Sphere in Las Vegas? Multimedia presentation, LED. It was quite the spectacle. Sean O'Malley versus Merab. Forgetting about the fights, but made me think about, could we perhaps see a wrestling company or the WWE in the Sphere at some point to have some real sort of crazy theatrical presentation of a wrestling card? What do you think about that, Andy?
I hope not. I don't. I have no.
Oh,
need.
wow.
I have no need for them to
Wow.
cross over.
Oh,
They're two different worlds. They're two different worlds.
I didn't say that, but what I'm saying is the Sphere, the WWE, the potential of the WWE doing a show in Vegas in the Sphere.
They'll get in
at some
there.
Point. I'm asking about that.
Yes.
I'm asking about UFC, but
absolutely, they're going to utilize that technology. They will not let that. They will either they'll use that or they'll build their own, because that's the future. Okay, that's the future of live entertainment. That's the future of live concerts. That's the future of sporting events. So absolutely, they will. They will get in there sooner rather than later. Absolutely.
And by the way, to your point, I know you're going to say no, but we may see. I'll say within 2 years, we may see a hybrid UFC WWE show.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't. I wouldn't root for it. It's nothing I'd be interested in seeing. But I have no doubt they work for. They're owned by the same company. So eventually, the worlds are going to collide.
The next time you're with me for any length of time, if there's a UFC show, we're going to a bar and we're going to watch it, and I think you'll have some enjoyment of it.
I bet you I would. The time we did, I enjoyed a lot. Now, a lot of the reason I was having fun was because there was a naked woman sitting on my lap while we were watching it. But at the same time, I did. Between you, me, and I think Chucky the bartender, we picked somebody to root for, and we were having fun and having a few drinks, looking at the things that we enjoyed looking at, and I have no doubt I'd have a good time. And actually, if you told me that we were going to go to a live UFC event, I'd be like, cool. It looks like a blast.
Well, we would take Anthony, my nephew. I took him. We went to UFC 306 at a local sports joint, cold beer cheeseburgers. I took all my nephews, and they announced as soon as we get in. By the way, the place is called Cold Beer and Cheeseburgers. We walk in and they announce.
I love it already.
Our grill is down. We cannot serve.
And our tap is down. We have a full menu, except our grill and tap are down.
Only the fried stuff, and they have like a big mac and cheese menu and salad. So
and apple juice.
And the waitress, the manager sees me all the time, so he comes over and he says, "Listen, I think in 20 minutes we'll get the grills back up and running." So we get one of these big nachos, and then Gabriel looks up as we're finishing nachos, and he goes, "I think I'm going to puke." We're like, "Get to the bathroom!" He apparently went to Chipotle for lunch with Marie and polished off one of those big mega burritos and got sick. So I will say this UFC 306 was very cool. The presentation. I'm glad that Merab beat Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's a kid from Arizona. You'd think I should root for him, but he's got a big mouth and I don't like him. So I'm kind of glad that he got his beat.
UFC will always be something that I can enjoy, but it's nothing I will ever follow.
Okay.
That I'll ever
care
about.
Groo, you want to Black Eagle it, or do you want to span the universe? I'll throw it to you.
Let's Black Eagle it.
All right, good. All right, let me scroll down then.
This shouldn't take long.
Fair enough. All right, everybody. Today's Nothing Worthwhile podcast, Van Dammit, Black Eagle, is brought to you by New You Life Center. Be the new you, whether it's virtual, RF, microneedle. I don't want to read the same. Listen, they're doing tomorrow. They're doing.
No, you just reminded me of something really funny. Go ahead.
They're doing a Tox and Shop event tomorrow, Sunday. So I guess they're doing all these small. It's actually kind of a cool idea. Marie's hosting all of these small business vendors. Sheila will be there doing her tattoos, and they have somebody selling jewelry and this
market.
and that. Yeah, and then she's giving everybody a special deal on Botox, and so the doors will be open on Sunday, and I'll be home with the doggies. And then we got my brother's birthday at what's the steakhouse? So we're going to some steak place at 4:00. Chow down some steaks.
Nice. No, but you reminded me. I was watching the Major League, the movie, the other day, and the part where he's hosting the Bob Uecker. He's like, the post game show is brought to you by. He's like, God, Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it. I don't want to read this crap.
Well, listen, guys, check out New Life Center. Check out all their social media. They're on Instagram. Give New You a call at 602-274-0068 and tell them that you want something worthwhile and you heard about them from Nothing Worthwhile. New You Life Center, Phoenix Premier Med Spa.
To pump
all right,
you up.
Black Eagle, where do pump you up?
Where do we begin?
Black Eagle is directed by Eric Carson, and the writers
Eric
credited
Carson.
are the Eric Carson, A.E. Peters, Michael Gonzalez, and Shimon Arama. Shimon Arama. That's not Sharon Marama. Sharon Marama, everybody. You want to give a gander as to the production budget of Black Eagle, Andrew? How much do you think they spent on Black Eagle? All kidding aside, we'll goof on Black Eagle in a little bit, but how much money do you think Black Eagle was the production budget?
Well, let's see. It came out in 1988. But no, I'm serious.
That is true.
I'm trying to think because 88 they were starting to spend money on movies. I don't think they spent much on this one, but that means more than they would have a few years earlier. I'm going to say they probably spent about 10 to 12 million on this one. It looks really cheap, but I still think it probably cost about 10 to 12 million.
Well, it does look very cheap, Andrew, and you're in the ballpark. I have a production budget of just $3 million.
Wow, that's not even close to the same ballpark.
Yeah, because that kind of dovetails into the cast. You have Sho Kusugi, who plays the hero, Ken Tani. You have a very young Jean Claude Van Damme, who plays the villain, Andre. I mean, there's really not too many names.
The villain.
He was the villain.
He was
right?
A villain.
Wait, hold on. You're not saying? Yeah, but he's the heavy. He's the muscle. I mean, I think obviously
he's like the Gary Busey in Lethal Weapon. He's like the henchman that becomes the unstoppable force. He's not the brains behind the operation. He's not.
I understand that. He's the muscle. I mean, obviously, when you're watching the movie. I will get to it in a second.
It was misrepresented.
As a viewer, I'm waiting for Ken and Andre to square off. I mean, obviously, we're waiting for that big. That's because
that's what the cover says is going to happen. That's because it says Jean Claude Van Damme against Sho Kusugi, but that's not what this movie is. Because Van Damme at the time was not. It was not. Was this before or after Bloodsport, or right at the same time?
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. If you give me a second, I can pull it up on my computer. I think it's before because I had the filmography. So I have. Oh yeah.
So when is this in relation to like No Retreat, No Surrender?
This is after No Retreat, No Surrender. So I have Van Damme initially in '86 with No Retreat. Then did you say Bloodsport? Excuse me. Bloodsport apparently is listed before this.
What year?
And then Black 88.
So this is all right. So this could have been made before Bloodsport, but it was released.
Could have been.
All right, I'm going to guess that's what happened. Otherwise, he would be the centerpiece of the movie, and he's not even close.
But he's not. He's okay. I disagree with you a little bit. Centerpiece, fine. But he's a major character. The ending, he's a major character.
Yeah. He does. Right. He does become that. All right, let's keep going.
There's tremendous character growth by the end of the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
We got the very beautiful Doran.
Because I thought because for 3/4 of the movie, my hero was Patricia Parker.
I was just about obviously to announce her, Doran Clark, the very beautiful Patricia Parker.
Get me Patricia Parker.
Bruce French as Father Joseph Bedelia,
priest. Yeah.
Vladimir Skomarovsky as Vladimir Klemenko.
Skomarovsky.
William Bassett as Dean Rickert, and then I think Sho Kusugi's two sons are actually his two sons.
Shane and Kane.
Yeah,
You put that together, did you?
No, I really. I think it. Well,
yes,
they're his real
Brian
children.
and Denny. Brian and Denny. Do you think that's in tribute to anybody?
Am I missing something?
Brian and Denny. It's like Brian Dennehy.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what jumped out when I heard those two names. That's what jumped out to me.
Well, that's his real sons, Kane and Shane Kusugi, and then we have Dorada Puzio as Natasha, and she was a little bit of a character in the movie. Groo, this movie was released May 19th, 1988. Storyline, one of the U.S. Air Force most modern tactical aircraft, an F-111 Aardvark. Oh, boy. With a new laser guidance system, please let me try to read this.
Go.
Crashes into the sea near Malta, a region where Soviet forces are also highly active. The CIA immediately sends out their best secret agent, Ken Tani, to salvage the system before it falls into enemy hands.
You notice how I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's some character work in there. Like one of my favorite moments is right near the beginning where I even forgot his name, but the boss, he's like, there's only one man who can do this, and that's Ken Tani. And they're like, well, let's get him. Well, but we can't get him because this is the only week he has with his children. So why the fuck did you mention his name, asshole? It's like every movie does that. There's only one person in the world who could do this. All right, well, let's call him. Well, he's dead. Well, gee, thanks, asshole.
So do they essentially have the girl, for lack of a better word, kidnap the kids and throw them in like a hotel, and they're like, "We have your kids. You must do this."
That's
operation.
exactly what they do. And who is that? Who is that weird guy with her? Like,
well, he turns.
I know. He had the heel turn like
driver.
right away. Like you're not going to see right through that guy. Like right away, I'm like, villain.
So here it is. So it says, to ensure his loyalty, they bring his two sons to a nearby hotel on the island of Malta. Opposing Tani in the search is the brutal KGB agent Andre. So Van Damme is in the synopsis.
Yes, he's in the synopsis because they're using him to sell the movie. Because by the time it came out, he was a star. But when they made the movie, he was a nobody, or he was just coming off No Retreat. That's my call. Because what does he have? 5 lines of dialogue in this movie?
Well, I have some thoughts about that as well. But it's rated R. Groo, do you want to take a gander at the box office? I mean, this is a tough one, and it's almost not even a fair question.
Yeah, and I know, and I think I know why. Because you're going to tell me that it was never released in theaters. Because I don't remember this ever coming out, and I used to pay attention back then. I read Newsday every single fucking Friday, just like you did, to see what new movies were coming out and how many stars the local critic would give it. Because we no matter where we go in our lives, we will always base our opinions on the Newsday critics.
And by the way, let me give you my Newsday reading format. By the way, this is when I was a young man. Sports. Funnies,
right?
Part 2,
Kids Day, maybe.
Then I breezed the front page for like actual hard world news.
They had a gossip column somewhere in there.
Well, I think part 2 was kind of like entertainish, so to speak. So the only metric I have that I could find was domestic video sales on. Yeah,
I don't think it came out. So I can't give you. I don't know. $100,000, $200,000.
You are actually fairly close. $95,615 for domestic video sales on Black Eagle.
Damn. Yeah, I don't remember this movie ever coming out in theaters. Do you?
Well, no.
In fact, until you told me that we were doing it, I didn't even know it existed, to be quite honest.
Neither did I, but I find these movies I want for Van Damme, and I want to literally watch every good and bad.
Oh, this was fun.
Movie.
I enjoyed watching this.
Well, real quick, we have no tomato meter score. I'm just going to give you, I have an audience pop. You want to give a gander as to the audience popcorn meter on this? 2,500 audience members.
What is
rated in?
What is the metric?
0 to 100%. What do you think the popcorn meter score was for the audience?
Probably 50, maybe 40,
50%.
Yeah,
40%,
40 to 50%.
I have 16%.
Damn, they're usually nice. The audience is usually nicer.
That doesn't bode well for Black Eagle. Gru, let me give you two critical, quick snippets of critical response.
You found two?
Yes. Ed Travis of Synapse says Black Eagle offers literally nothing new to the espionage or action genre except for its fresh young heavy, meaning Jean Claude. It's remarkable as a time capsule and little else. Andrew L. Urban of Urban Cinephile says, with one chase, one aborted fight, and one small fight on a boat in the first 55 minutes, Black Eagle isn't exactly an action movie. So, Gru, you want to take a gander, or you want me to go first? On a scale of 0 to 4 Black Eagles, what do we give Black Eagle? You want to go first?
I want you to go first this time.
All right, good. Okay, because I actually took some time to write some notes. Andrew knows I do the good, bad, and then I give my final review. What was good about Black Eagle? Malta is a beautiful place to shoot a movie.
When you go there first, it's all downhill from there.
It's a beautiful island, I believe, off the coast of France. So you got some beautiful sweeping shots. Jean-Claude, here you could see the potential. He looks like a star. He's in tremendous physical shape here. He's young. There's not a crinkle or wrinkle on his face. He plays a really good bad guy, which Andrew has mentioned in our Van Damme podcast. I think Andrew once said he could have been a good Terminator, and here I finally saw that. I actually think when he spoke, it kind of took a little bit away from me. When he's just that steely-eyed, sort of evil Russian henchman, so to speak, and he just with the slick back hair and the suits, he's definitely very imposing. I felt like actually, when he did some line delivery, it kind of mucked it up for me a little bit, but obviously you could see Jean-Claude is a standout here. All right, what was bad about the movie?
He's revving up.
First of all, I watched it free on YouTube. I don't know if you saw this, but the color at times seems to go wonky in this movie. I don't know if it's just
it was free on Amazon Prime.
All right, well, anyway, here's what I'll say about this. Andrew does these really well. He gives these sort of little dialogue. So here's what it's like somebody said, let's make an action movie in 1988. Let's put in everything we think a sweeping action movie should have. Let's have an exotic foreign lead who has really such a strong accent that while he speaks English fluently, we have a difficult time really understanding him. He completely overacts. He has no understanding of delivery, like sarcasm, irony. Everything is sort of delivered in this same sort of monotonish kind of deal. Let's throw in meaningless sweeping shots of beautiful countryside, like it's the French Connection. Let's throw in every sort of piece that we feel should be in an action movie. Let's have the bad car chase. Let's have the bad foot chase in which the actors can't even walk up like ladders. They're slow. Let's have a super spy hang gliding and then go into the water for a ridiculously long time, trying to release like a missile from a down sub. And by the way, for an action movie, I agree with the critic. There's very little action really overall in this movie. And the action is really rooted in like martial arts. So it's not even really realistic. It's kind of boring. Let's throw in some religious elements with a character who's a priest who apparently uses profanity. And then let's throw in for good measure. Let's have the hero hulk up at the end of the movie, commando style, and put mud and like black paint on his face, and go undercover to take out all the baddies. Although we do get in the final fight a great Van Damme split, so I'll give him some slight points there. But all of this on a bare bones budget, making this literally the worst movie I've reviewed on this great podcast. Here's my review. I think Andrew would agree with me on some. Usually with a bad movie or a low budget movie, there's some kind of kitschy charm. Even like No Retreat, No Surrender, you could see a fun or a joy to the viewing. I mean, for me, this was terrible from the start. It's like they just took various puzzle pieces that don't fit and kind of slammed them together. I'll give Black Eagle one Black Eagle for a young Van Damme, the beautiful Isle of Malta, and the beautiful Doran Clark, who plays Patricia Parker, and I say not well. So it was not a fun viewing experience for me. I didn't have fun watching this. One Black Eagle, and I'm stretching it there.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to talk about two things here. The first thing I'm going to talk about is everything that you said, all those ingredients, as you were saying. Well, let's take this, let's take that, let's take this, put it all in, and all of that would work if not for one mistake that the movie makes, and that is you talked about. Let's take Van Damme, who let's not have him speak much, but he's got charisma. What you need to do is you need to surround him with people who can act. And that's what they forgot to do in Black Eagle.
Okay.
All right. Notice none of the people that you saw in this movie, including Kano and Shano, did you ever really see again? I didn't recognize one person in that cast from anything, anywhere. So
Kano and Shano.
Yeah, and when you're trying to build something around someone who is not going to be known for his method acting skills, you have to give him some support. And they forgot to do that with this. So everything else comes crumbling down. Now, I will say that Van Damme in this movie comes across exactly as you described. He comes across, and see if you follow and agree with this analogy. He is the heel wrestler from a stable where everybody else in the stable fails, but he's the guy who breaks out of it and becomes a top babyface because of that charisma. So his charisma in what I still consider to be a pretty small role for a top billed star. Obviously they do that a lot. There's every movie like Adam Sandler made before anybody knew who he was. Now the new advertising has him as the star, even though he's in it for like a minute. So that's the way I kind of see this, even though, he did kind of take over towards the end, but he definitely shows his potential, and you could see why he became the star that he did. But like you said, some of these movies are fun to watch, and in the beginning, I thought it was going to be that because it felt like that. I'm like, all right, I had a nice down home, like snuggly, canon 80s movie feel to it. But it didn't last long because I was waiting for something to make me laugh and make me, just be really over the top bad, and it wasn't even that. So I'm going to actually agree with you. And my score is 1 Black Eagle for Black Eagle. I can't go any higher than that. And it's a stretch because, No Retreat, No Surrender has a charm to it that makes it every few years a fun rewatch. I'll never watch Black Eagle again. There would be no reason to ever watch this movie again. So
yeah, I agree.
So so one Black Eagle for Black Eagle.
Yep, I felt like specific to Jean Claude. I almost prefer if they kept him almost as a silent, heavy type. What did you think about the end, where it's almost like he had like a redeemable moment where he tries to save the girl, and
it felt tacked on. It felt completely out of character, and it felt like you know what. I'd like to read more about the movie. I purposely don't do any research into this.
really wasn't a lot on there.
I wonder if they somehow
reshot
maybe
that later?
maybe did that. Maybe once maybe after they filmed the movie, he became a somewhat of a household name because of Bloodsport, and they felt like they had to give him something. Maybe it felt like that. I don't know if that's what they did, but either way, it didn't work for the movie.
No, it didn't. And when I was watching, so those who are listening, at the end of the movie, Jean Claude and like his sort of girlfriend they tease throughout the movie, both fall into the water, and he tries to save her, which is definitely a good guy, a face move, and he gets gritted up by the boat propeller, and the girlfriend, he like almost in a sense sacrifices himself so the girlfriend could live. And when I watched it, usually in that kind of movie, when the villain sort of has a redeemable moment, you're like, oh. And to me, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It didn't ring true. Like I wanted him just to be that steely Terminator badass throughout the movie, and it just didn't feel in place for me.
Yeah, I expected him to, before he's going to die, look up and say, "For John."
All right, Groo. You want to span the universe?
I would love to span the universe. So if
All
you
right,
give me a
Groo,
moment to span the universe, we're going to go span the universe.
All right, let's get to the latest news on our favorite 80s action stars and some news that we're going to cover. It's nothing worthwhile spanning the universe.
Van Dammit, spanning the universe.
Yes, Spanning the Universe is brought to you by our friends at New You Life Center. Begin a new you. Check out all of their medical weight loss programs at www.newyouLifecenters.com. That's NUYOU Lifecenters.com, or give them a call, 602-274-0068. Tell them Moody Groo sent you and receive a big 15% off your first service. We want to thank my wife, Marie Moody, Erica, Desiree, Brian, Shelby, Dr. Nabla, and the rest of the New You Life Center team. All right, let me scroll down here to my notes. Well, as we played in the opener, a little clip of Darth Vader, unfortunately, Groo, James Earle Jones, the voice of Star Wars villain Darth Vader, and many more, died at his Dutchess County, New York home on Monday, September 9th, at the age of 93. His reps at Independent Artist Group confirmed his death to Deadline. James Earle Jones grew as a recipient of many awards throughout his lifetime. He scored the rare EGOT, the Emmy, Grammy, Tony Award. He got a Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement in 2017 and earned an honorary Oscar in 2011. I wonder, is that a true EGOT if you get like a lifetime?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it like Baseball Hall of Fame when you get like the broadcasters vote in? I never quite considered that quite the same as the.
Yes, but for someone like him, like if you look at the people who've gotten it, you would look at each of them and say they're basically awards saying you're bigger than one movie. So they give it to people who have never won for a particular movie, but who've been nominated many times and who were considered like the best of the best actor. Like Kirk Douglas was one of them.
Okay.
He was one of their greatest movie stars of all time. Never won an Academy Award, but got that award. Peter O'Toole, another one. So I would put absolutely James Earle Jones in that category. Is there a person alive who doesn't know that voice? I
just want to say real quick, O'Toole. All right, listen, Groo. James Earle Jones, he played animated film characters Mufasa in 1994's The Lion King, voice box at the hardware store in 2005's Robots, Giant in the 2009 movie retelling of Jack and the Beanstalk. He also starred in 1993 The Sandlot as Mr. Myrtle. He played the role of King Jafar in the 1998 hit Coming to America. I'm just trying to see if there was anything.
People forget how great he was in Coming to America.
He won a primetime. Well, let me finish up. Give you all the outstanding lead actor in a drama series in Gabriel's Fire. Outstanding supporting actor in a miniseries or special in Heat Wave. But of course, it's his role as Darth Vader that perhaps brought him the most notoriety. He voiced that part for over 50 years since the beloved series' first film in 1997. My notes believe that he did sign off on allowing AI to recreate his voice for future use.
That is true.
His voice was used on the Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries in 2022.
That is true.
Andrew Gruthius, James Earle Jones, dead at the age of 93.
Yeah, a life well lived. I mean, this guy, look, 93 is a great run, especially, he you just named so many accomplishments from this one guy, and that's leaving out the two that to me are the unsung ones of his career. And one is Field of Dreams.
Okay.
And the other is his performance in the Broadway show Fences, which Denzel Washington recreated both on stage and in a movie. It's an August Wilson show, and there are clips on YouTube. I no reason to share it now, but if you want to look it up, just look up James Earle Jones in Fences, and it'll show you a scene, and it's always the same scene, and it's really something. So James Earle Jones, an American treasure, a life well lived, from the heroest of heroes in Mufasa to the villainiest of villains in Darth Vader. Nobody did it better than James Earle Jones. So gotta tip your hat, raise a glass. Not a tragedy, a celebration. So a big loss, but God bless James Earle Jones. What an American treasure. So yeah.
Let's toast. I'm going to drink my Starbucks
to
James Earle Jones.
Drink the drippings of what's left of this chocolate milk.
All right, Andrew, let's see what you think about this one. According to Dolph Lundgren, who plays the mercurial Gunnar Jensen in the Expendables franchise, there's only one way he'd come back for a fifth installment should it happen. Unsurprisingly, it has to do with the man who tried to infuse some heart into the franchise, Sylvester Stallone. Dolph has gone on record saying he wants Stallone back in charge. But to be specific, Stallone never really completely left the Expendables franchise. He has appeared in all four films. Listen, I didn't see the fourth film. Apparently, Barney Ross was apparently killed off, though he returns at the end of the movie to literally save the day. When Dolph Lundgren spoke to Screen Rant earlier this year, he stipulated that he would return for a fifth film if Sylvester was given control over the films once again. Quoting Dolph, if Sly's in charge, I think he's working on his version of another chapter with these guys. If he's in charge, then I'm sure it would be fun to work on it. Stallone's return to the Expendables isn't a far-gone necessity. And then they go through some blah, 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 blah. So, look, I'll wrap it up here. Gru, thoughts on the future of the Expendables franchise? Do you care? Do you not care?
I don't care. I don't want Stallone wasting his time on that dead franchise. They had two terrific ones, one good one, and one that I didn't see that there's no reason to see and I never will see. And the Expendables, or if you're going to do it, do it as a comedy. Do it as, now's the time to do like the old man comedy. Like you and get the gang back together,
Okay, that as a separate.
Yeah, I mean, just when I think of the Expendables, I don't think of a running storyline. I think of three separate movies that are a bunch of old guys having fun on a movie screen. And so it doesn't matter who they are or what they're doing. It's just they are doing these exaggerated versions of themselves. So take that same group and put them in. You know what? There's a movie they should remake. They should remake it with like Stallone and Schwarzenegger. It's a movie from 1986 called Tough Guys. You ever hear of a movie called Tough Guys? Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas.
I've seen it.
They're in their 70s. They get released from prison after 30 years, and they go back into like a life of crime. It's like fish out of water. They've been gone for 30 years in a clash of cultures. It's great fun, and it's ripe for two guys like that. like Stallone and Schwarzenegger playing these two old crime guys getting out after 30 years and just having some fun. Like do these with a twinkle in your eye. Don't do them for a paycheck. So I hope the Expendables are done. There's no reason to go back there.
They did that already. It's called Escape Plan. I'm joking.
They did? But see, no. You know what? You bring up an excellent point. Because when you see the problem to me with Escape Plan, and I think we've done one on Escape Plan, didn't we?
I don't know if we've definitely talked about it. To me, and I promise I won't get off on a rant, but the problem with Escape Plan to me is that you've got Stallone and Schwarzenegger headlining a movie together for the first time, and you put them in this in a movie where the plot is so busy that you're forgetting why you're seeing the movie. Like you can't like sprinkle the plot all over the place. The stars have to be bigger. It's got to be about them. When you put Schwarzenegger and DeVito in twins, it wasn't the plot. It was these two being brothers. That's the funny part, and that's what made that movie work. Nobody remembers about the whatever the hell they were transporting or the plot or whatever they needed to do because it wasn't important. In Escape Plan, they had the opportunity to do something really fun and great, but we're too busy trying to figure out what the fuck is going on that we lose the novelty of Stallone and Schwarzenegger. That's what they should be doing now. They should be doing a character comedy, those two together, these two old guys, just someone's got to write something funny for these guys to do, like an analyze this type thing. Something like that. Forget get out of we're not going to take these hardcore action things seriously anymore with the ages of these guys. I'm sorry. As much as I love them, and so do you, and I do, I cut them as much slack as anybody else. The aging action hero is falling on hard times. With the exception of Rambo, of course. Well, are you saying you want Stallone to bring back Rambo?
I my heart does, but my head does not.
Yeah,
meaning that that's
I would say the
same
thing because I did not like the final one. Now I'll say this about Escape Plan. Am I crazy? I kind of liked Escape Plan.
It's not a bad movie. It's just not why we're watching it.
All right, I'm speaking now.
All right,
hold on.
Go ahead.
What year did Escape Plan come out?
I want to say maybe 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
So there, to me, Escape Plan felt like it was already 10, 15 years too long. Like it should have happened a long time ago when those guys were more at the height of their powers. It just felt like I enjoyed the story. Didn't love the movie, didn't hate it, but it just felt like, again, it should have happened a while back.
It's like Heat, the movie Heat, De Niro and Pacino. All right, now that's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
It is a great movie. However, is there something in you that is saying, all right, you've got De Niro and Pacino in a movie on screen together for the first time. Shouldn't this be something like Mafia or Gangster or something, or it seems like they chose the wrong vehicle for the first time pairing. At the same time, they made a phenomenal movie, so they get a pass. But I remember when I saw it, there was that thing why are they in Los Angeles? They should be in New York. Something like that. That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I'm talking about Escape Plan.
Okay, for Heat, and I don't want to drag this down, but it felt like De Niro and Pacino really had very minimal screen time together to chop it up. They had the one scene, the big scene in the diner, and rumors have it that sometimes they were body doubles. Like Pacino, they show Pacino's back. That's what I read. That's what I saw maybe on YouTube or something like that. So that's all. I didn't think those guys were on there enough. They didn't really have a lot of scenes to sort of grist together, where Stallone and Schwarzenegger did have a lot more FaceTime and interaction. Who cares what I think? Come on,
you're right, but you get the comparison.
Yeah, do love Heat though.
It's a great movie.
All right, Groo. Boy, this is gonna be a quickie. And then finally, in the new documentary, I know Andrew's big on it. Road Diary: Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Bruce Springsteen's wife and bandmate Patti Scialfa says that she was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in 2018. This was first reported by Variety. She has struggled to perform because of the illness, quoting Patti, "This affects my immune system, so I have to be careful about what I choose to do and where I choose to go." Patti Scialfa is 71, Andrew, and she says in the documentary, "Every once in a while I come to a show or two. I can sing a few songs on stage, and that's been a treat." Multiple myeloma affects the plasma cells, a type of white blood cell produced in the bone marrow. As a result, the cancer primarily affects the bones and kidneys. The disease and the treatments for it, such as stem cell transplants and immunotherapies, often make patients more vulnerable to other infections, such as respiratory illnesses. There is no cure. However, my notes indicate if treated early, one may survive and even live a somewhat regular life. Groo, any thoughts on the announcement coming from Patti Scialfa?
Yeah, I mean, for Springsteen fans like us, it's shocking and upsetting to hear. But I hope she's getting the care that she needs. There was speculation, because she hasn't been on the tour. So of course there's all kinds of speculation as to why. Some even going as far as to say that they were, breaking up. But I don't know if it's a relief to hear this. It's not. But like you said, hopefully it is something that can be dealt with. And it certainly seems nobody has seen the documentary yet, except people at the Toronto Film Festival. Definitely looking forward to seeing it. I've heard good things. But yeah, God bless Patti Scialfa. I hope she root for a complete recovery. She can get back out on the road because the band definitely misses her.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and on my Apple Music was download Bruce Springsteen live Songs of Conscience.
Yeah, I saw
that. It was like 10 tracks, and I don't know. I guess these were all like politically themed songs live.
But forget the purpose of them. I like that they do those.
Andrew. I was just about to say I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Bruce
like why doesn't Billy Joel do that? Just throw some live rarities up there. Remaster them, have some fun. That's all. I mean, shit. Come on.
I mean, come on. Apple Live Billy has Sleeping with the Television on. Come on.
I would love to hear.
And by the way, I don't even think Sleeping with the Television Live was on until there was a lot of great publicity when he played it live with Trey Anastasio. And Trey Anastasio from Phish specifically requested that song to play with Billy live. So then I think there was some. Yeah, he requested that to play that song live. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Billy even did that. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't know. I have to do Lion Sleeps Tonight.
But I do like it when they come out with those collections.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. There's a Last Man Standing that I'm really glad to get on my Apple Music. So, all right, wow, we're really cutting it tight this week.
I blame the lack of enthusiasm for Black Eagle.
Well,
there wasn't much worth talking about from that movie.
Andrew, anything you want to talk about? Anything you're watching this week?
Yes, in fact, and this I actually wanted to talk about because of you, because I know how much you like documentaries. Even more, I know how much you like true crime documentaries. So I have two for you that are about the same exact thing on different. Take a guess.
Can I guess?
Yeah, take a guess.
Scott Petersen?
Yep, that's it. There's one on Netflix that's, I think, Lacey's point of view, and one on Peacock that is Scott's point of view. And you'll see a lot of crossover as far as people, basically telling the same story, but they're woven in very different directions. And I remember, watching that case unfold live on TV back in 2002 and 2003. And it was very interesting then, and it's just as interesting now. So the two documentaries are both very well done. All you got to do is just go to both of those streaming services and search for Scott Petersen, and it'll come up. One is called, I think, Lacey Peterson, and I think the other is called like The Face of Scott Petersen. I forget which network is which, but either way, I recommend both of those highly to you because it's right up your alley.
This almost sounds like back in the 90s when they had the television movies. One was Joey Buttafuoco's point of view, and what was Amy Fisher's point of view?
Not only that, no, there were three.
There were
three of them. There was one that was like right down the middle. I remember like Alyssa Milano played her in one. I think Drew Barrymore played her in another. I remember that. There were three of them, like on three different slants on the Long Island Lolita. That makes me think of No Man's Land. That makes me think of Billy Joel, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, well,
Lolita and suburban lust.
True. Was there enough there to make you think that Scott Petersen could be an innocent man?
I don't think so. Still there's too much that makes sense about the whole thing. You know, he had every reason to want to kill her. He did not. It's clear that he did not want to be. He did not want to live the husband and father life. That's my feeling. I'd be interested in yours. I do not. And to watch those two things, it really challenges you to make a choice. And I'm glad. So I'm glad you asked that question because now I'm interested to hear what you think after watching those two.
I saw I definitely watched some of the one on Netflix. I saw the promo on Peacock. The Lacey Peterson one does acknowledge some of the points that the Scott Petersen team was trying to make to cast aspersions on his alleged guilt. And I don't know. I mean, you know, one could be a really bad guy and a really bad father and a husband, and that doesn't make you a murderer. But I'd have to watch the Scott Petersen to really get the full picture. But I've been aware as a true crime. I'm not a junkie, but as a guy who love to watch these documentaries, they've been saying for a long time. You know, there were some strange guys in the area, criminals. You know, there was, they're trying to. Obviously, they was trying to cast doubt, and I'd have to see the full Scott Petersen one to really make more of a judgment call.
And it's his first ever, I think, interview. So he's actually interviewed on it from prison. So you should watch that, and I'd really be interested in hearing your take.
Maybe I will watch that later today.
Sounds like a perfect Saturday night right there.
Yeah, real depressing. Come on, honey, let's watch.
Let's watch.
Well, we tried to watch last night Black Mass on Netflix. It's 2015. It's Johnny Depp, Whitey Bulger.
Yeah. I never saw it, but I heard it.
Jesse Plemons is in it from Breaking Bad. But anyway, the movie just starts off so violent, and Marie was like, "I don't think this is for me." I was like, "All right, let's go put on The Housewives of
SpongeBob
or something." Yeah, exactly. Did you see it all real quick? Did you ever? I don't know. I know you're not. I don't know. Well, did you watch the Jet broadcast Thursday on Prime at all? Did you watch the NFL game?
No.
Nikki Glazer did a post roast after the game. It's on YouTube. It's pretty darn funny, I will have to say.
Okay,
it's something different that I had not seen. That might be for a clip for the next podcast. It just makes me think of C.J. Mosley, who plays linebacker for the Jets. He was out of the game with like an injured toe, and Nikki Glazer says something like, "I checked the injury report, and C.J. Mosley is out with a grade 1 owie. He's been upgraded to a stage 2 boo boo." And Robert Saleh is going to kiss and make it feel all better. So he should be ready. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Groo, I'm watching, you know, and we've talked about this. I'm watching, really not much, but season 2 of Tulsa King premiered Sunday, September 15th. I watched the first episode. You want my thoughts?
Yes, I do. I have not. Don't give me any spoilers because I have not. I know it's heresy, because we've been waiting, but I have not watched it
Oh,
yet.
you're such a, no. I mean, the old me would have called you an a-hole and said, because you made such a big deal about it on our last podcast. I can't watch anything else. I am only.
I just.
I can't talk about.
As I told you.
I can't talk about Sebastian Maniscalco. I can only talk about Tulsa King, Sylvester Stallone.
As I said, it's been a very hectic couple of weeks, and by about halfway through the week, I kept meaning to sit down and watch it. And then I made the conscious decision by Wednesday. I said, you know what?
Black Eagle?
No. Well, I knew I had to watch Black Eagle, but I said, I will make the conscious decision to wait till Sunday so I can watch episodes 1 and 2 together. So that's the plan. That's the plan. So tell me your thoughts about the first episode.
Then this is
thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs middle. Was not blown away.
Oh boy,
liked it. Didn't. Maybe I have a problem with season 2s, and maybe I have a problem with sequels. Maybe in my mind, your creative apex is always that first season where everything's sort of new and it's almost like a baby, full of hormones and energy, and they go same formula early on. The Stallone dialogue. He's in prison. I'll save you that. And for me, it kicked up a little bit when he goes face to face with I think it's Neil McDonough. They introduce his character, and Stallone and him have a little one-on-one dialogue, and you could feel the tension there. Frank
Grillo show up yet?
Yes. Yes. Towards the very end. And, you get your mob in New York, and, it just, I liked it. I was definitely not blown away like I was from episode 1 of season 1, but I'll be back. I'll be watching episode 2 just like you. That's it.
Right. Well, yeah, I will. I really mean it. I really mean it.
I really, really do.
I really, really do. Hey, this year, maybe again, everything is a product of getting older. It took me a few days to start watching the first first installment of the last season of Cobra Kai. That was usually like waiting up till 3 a.m. for those things to drop. So it's just getting older. It's like, certain things become less urgent, I guess. Maybe.
I understand. Same thing for me. All right, Andrew, for our next episode of Van Damme, it will go back to 1989. It's Jean Claude Van Damme in Cyborg. He's the first hero of the 21st century, and he's our only hope. Andrew, any initial thoughts on Jean Claude in Cyborg?
Yes, I remember seeing Cyborg in the movie theater, and I remember liking it. I don't remember anything really about it more than just liking it. Looking forward to watching it again. And this, I know, is something that we'll be able to sink our teeth into way more than a movie like Black Eagle, because it's a Van Damme movie. So I'm looking forward to watching it again and talking about it. Absolutely.
All right, good. I think we'll definitely see some momentum with Jean Claude. And Andrew, for our next episode of Nothing Worthwhile, we are huge wrestling fans, and there's nothing bigger than the Netflix documentary Mr. McMahon. The trailer is up on Netflix, and it's a riveting trailer. How many episodes did you say it was Andrew?
6.
6 episodes. So
6 episodes.
So you figure they're going to really chop it up on Vince. And then of course we have coming up, I think the first weekend of October, we have WWE Bad Blood. So we're going to do a wrestling themed podcast for Nothing Worthwhile. We'll give our thoughts on the Mr. McMahon Netflix documentary and give our predictions for WWE Bad Blood. Andrew, Mr. McMahon and Bad Blood.
Oh, well, I'm really looking forward to the McMahon documentary. I'm scared. I'm scared because 6 episodes is overwhelming. It's going to I feel like it's going to take me a while to watch it, and you're going to be mad at me because this is important for us and our show here.
Okay, so are you saying
it's overwhelming? I'm 6 episodes. Jesus, they're going to destroy them.
Well, we'll save that for the podcast. But are you saying, in a sense, because I'll enjoy it, so I feel here's maybe not enjoy it because I think they will probably rip job Vince, whether fairly or unfairly. We'll save it for the podcast. But does those binges go down easy for you? Or are you saying like you need to like after an episode get off the couch, take a stretch, go do something else and clear your head before you go into episode 2?
No, I'm
going on
I'm
here?
a good binger, especially with stuff like that. I just watched a 3-part something. Oh God, what the hell was it? It wasn't the Petersen thing. Oh, it was my. What are we watching last week? The Offer, the Godfather thing. So so that was 10 episodes. What the hell did I? I'm losing it, man. I watched 3 episodes of something that I really enjoyed that I'm trying to remember what it was. Actually, no, I know what it was. It was the both of the Petersen ones are each broken up into three episodes. Okay. They're not one documentary. They're they're 2 3-episode programs. So that's what I was talking about.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to put on Peacock to watch the Scott Petersen, and I'm going to be like, "Oh my God, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills," and I'll probably watch that instead.
I'm trying to think if there's one you should watch first. I feel like you should watch the one you already started, the Lacey version first.
Yeah.
Like watch because like the court case, like you watch the prosecution, give the evidence, and then you have the defense, with their rebuttal. So like no,
this is going to be good.
Like
because I think I got like leftovers in the fridge, but it's like grilled cheese with bacon and fries. Ooh. It's going to be so good. Yeah, it's going to be on the couch with salt all over my shirt, and it's going to be great. So, all right, Andrew, that's it for Van Dammit. Take us out of here.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our privilege.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's been our privilege to take you down this road to the 1988 Jean Claude Van Damme classique, Black Eagle, and thank God that it's over, because watching it was excruciating. But Cyborg is next, and that's going to be next time on Van Dammit. That'll be a few weeks from now, but next week, or 2 weeks from now, we're going to take next week off, and 2 weeks from now, we are coming at you with a Bad Blood prediction / Mr. McMahon documentary review on the mothership of all motherships, Nothing Worthwhile, with Moody and Groo. So until then, folks, all I have to say is no retreat,
no surrender. Yeah, matey.
And everybody knew their part, from a fainting to a slip and a kicking from